It's been a while, but the Oilers are back at home at Bradner Stadium. Olean has not been here in over a week, but they're back at Bradner Stadium to host the Auburn Doubledays. Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Volz, and welcome to this broadcast of Olean Oilers baseball. The Oilers host the Auburn Doubledays, who now find themselves tied for first in the West Division at 13-5. Oilers come in at 8-10. Auburn comes in on a 4-game win streak, with one of those wins coming over the Oilers in Auburn 2 days ago, a 6-4 win. Last time the Oilers were here was 8 days ago, last Friday night, against these same Auburn Doubledays, a game that Auburn trailed 10-1 going into the ninth inning, rallied, made the game close, but ultimately fell 10-7. It's been up and down for the Oilers, but the right-hander Jake Menendo, who has started several games at Bradner Stadium this year, takes to the mound and tries to steady things for the Olean pitching rotation. He's making his fourth start of the year, a 2-1 record, a 4.11 ERA. Opponents are batting .270 off of the right-hander from Penn State, Behrend, going to his senior year at Penn State, Behrend. A native of Erie, so just down the way on the 90. Jaden Madrid will lead off for Auburn. Again, the Doubledays wearing their road navy blue uniforms, similar in look and style to those of the Minnesota Twins. The Oilers in their home white uniforms with red lettering and black trim. First pitch from Jake Menendo is a called strike, and we're underway at 6:30 on the dot. Right around 77 degrees at the time of first pitch. It's been a warm one here in the southern tier today, but an awfully nice night and an awfully nice crowd as the 0-1 pitch is hit on the ground above the head of Menendo, and that's going to roll past the infield for a base hit. Now, what a slow roller. If Connor O'Mara could have settled it down, would have been a very tough play at first. So the Doubledays have a first inning base runner, a leadoff base runner at that. Nacho Gonzalez is due up next. We'll take a look at the Doubledays batting order. Gonzalez, the second baseman, batting now. Flynn Shoup is the DH. He'll bat third. Teddy Monahan, the center fielder, will bat in the cleanup spot. First pitch here for Menendo, a big swing and a miss. Justin Batts will bat in the 5 spot for Auburn. Luke Geyer bats 6th. Dustin Wortham is the extra hitter for Auburn. He'll bat 7th. Connor Rumpf will bat 8th. Jose Taveras 9th. And Ethan Smith bats 10th. They check on the runner at first. He's back in safely. So Nacho Gonzalez at the plate. Native of Lake Forest, California, attends Saddleback Junior College. And he swings and fouls that one off. He's behind 0-2. He has been one of the league's best hitters so far this year. He's been a mainstay in this Auburn lineup. This is 11th overall game of the year. 7th game he started for him, batting .480 and getting on base north of 58% of the time. He has been a fantastic left-handed bat in the early part of their lineup. 0-2 pitch for Menendo is swung on and lifted in the air toward left. That will go foul and will drop foul. Connor Vercoloni giving chase. We'll take a look at the Oilers' defense. That is Anthony Radis behind the plate. Christo Hunsaker at first, Thomas Bates at second, Derek Stout at third. Connor O'Mara is the shortstop. The Oiler outfield, Connor Vercoloni in left field, Grant Fournier in center, and Cooper Tarley is in right. 0-2 the count on the left-handed hitting second baseman Nacho Gonzalez. Menendo, a long extended look towards Madrid at first. They'll check on him again. He's back in safely again. Doubledays is a team 13-5 on the season. They are 6-3 away from home. Combine that with a 7-2 home record. 0-2 pitch swung on and popped up. That'll go out of play, foul. Again, taking a look at the standings in the West Division, Auburn, with their 4-game win streak, is now tied with Batavia for the top spot In the division, the Jamestown Tarpskunks just a game behind at 12-6. And you have a little bit separating the rest of the division. The 0-2 pitch swung on and nubbed off the end of the bat, but that's going to go foul. You have the Elmira Pioneers sitting just above 500 at 9-8. Niagara Ironbacks just below it at 9-10. Then you have the Niagara Falls Americans and the Oilers at 8-11. Geneva Red Wings, or 8-10 rather. Geneva Red Wings 6-11. And the Newark Pilots 1-14. 0-2 pitch from Menendo. That one comes in a little bit low. It's been a rough season for Newark. They've lost 5 in a row, only one win on the year. Of course, everybody chasing off the Amsterdam Mohawks, who are 16-4 through their first 20 games. 1-2 pitch is high, ball 2. Amsterdam in the East Division, so the Oilers won't see them a whole lot. There's a lot separating the top couple of teams in the East Division. Amsterdam has won 11 straight after a 5-4 start. 2-2 pitch inside, nearly got a piece of Gonzalez, but just missed him. The count goes full. The next best team in that division is the Socrates Stallions, who are 10-9. They're 5.5 games back of Amsterdam and in second place in that division. 3-2 pitch with the runner going is low, ball 4, and the first two have reached against Menendo. To illustrate that point about just how far ahead Amsterdam is, the second place team in that East Division, the Socrates Stallions, they are closer in the standings to the Glens Falls Dragons, who are in last place in the division. They're closer to the last place team than they are to the team one spot in front of them. Amsterdam has just torn apart that Eastern Division. Again, to the tune of 11 straight wins. Pitch is a strike. Runners look towards going. Ultimately, they head back. It's the DH Flynn Shoup at the plate. Flynn Shoup, a native of Petaluma, California. He attends Denison College, batting .400 on the year. And the on-base percentage is the same. Menendo will check on the runner at second. He's back in safely. Some good solid speed on the base paths for Auburn. Nacho Gonzalez 2 for 4 on stolen base attempts this year. Jaden Madrid has stolen 5 bases and has been caught stealing once. The 0-1, they drop down the bunt. It's rolled to Hunsaker. That's going to be a beautiful bunt. Throw to first is just in time. Thomas Bates with a good play to cover the bag at first as Hunsaker charged towards the ball. That's the inning's first out, but a good bunt. Both runners advance. That's about as textbook of a bunt as you could draw up. So Jaden Madrid to third and Nacho Gonzalez to second, and it brings up the cleanup man, Teddy Monahan. Monahan is the center fielder for the Doubledays, a right-handed bat, and he takes a strike called at the bottom of the zone. Pretty big lead off of second base for Nacho Gonzalez. 0-1 pitch from Menendo is swung on and hit high in the air toward deep center field. Grant Fournier ranging back. Tarley's going to make the catch in right center. Both runners tag and head up. So a sacrifice fly for Teddy Monahan gives Auburn the first run of the game. It's 1-0. Sacrifice fly. Again, the ABC baseball that managers and coaches love. And Teddy Monahan drives in the run. That's his 21st RBI of the season. That leads the team as Madrid comes home to score. So the first baseman, Justin Batts, aptly named at the plate right now, takes the first pitch for a ball. Justin, a righty in the Doubledays order, batting in the 5 spot. As the name suggests, he's a pretty good hitter, batting .343. Takes the first pitch high and inside, ball 2. Well, if you remember that game 8 days ago between Auburn and Olean here at Bradner Stadium, that was a game the Oilers jumped out to a 1-0 lead, and then a couple of really crooked innings gave Auburn a 10-1 lead as the 2-0 pitch misses. But to the Oilers' credit, Olean rallied back to make it a 3-run game and had the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning before ultimately falling. Count 3-0 here to Justin Batts, and the pitch from Menendo. Strike called. He had to throw on there and did. Menendo trying to get out of this first inning, having surrendered just the 1 run. Runner at third, that is Nacho Gonzalez with 2 outs. 3-1 pitch from Menendo. High ball 4, and the inning continues. 2 walks issued by Menendo. 3 have reached. And the third baseman, Luke Geyer, comes in. Geyer was the DH in that game 8 days ago and had a few hits. 3 to be specific, drove in 2 runs, reached base 4 times. Oilers hoping that he has not quite as strong of a game. Geyer swings at the first pitch and grounds it past the second baseman Bates, a base hit. Gonzalez comes home to score. It's an RBI single for Geyer, and the Doubledays have a 2-0 first inning lead. Couple of hits, couple of runs, and some 2-out magic as Geyer drives in the run. Luke Geyer driving in his 14th run of the season. So now the first pitch to the 7-spot hitter, the EH, Dustin Wortham, is a called strike. Wortham, a righty, wears number 33. And batting .333 on the season. 0-1 pitch, just misses, ball 1. Dustin, a native of Stuart, Florida, attends Daytona Beach Christian University, as do a handful of other Doubledays players. A 1-1 pitch hit on the ground and snared by Christo Hunsaker, and he'll take it to the bag himself. So a little bit of a slow start in the first inning for Jake Menendo. Couple of runs, couple of hits, but the Oilers offense coming to bat in the bottom of the first. They trail 2-0 here at Bradner Stadium. Bottom of the first inning, Oilers coming to bat for the first time tonight here at Bradner Stadium, trailing 2-0. So trying to get those bats swinging. Fortunately, the Oilers have done a pretty good job of that this season. Oiler batters getting on base around 40% of the time. Thomas Bates is the leadoff man. He'll take the first pitch for a called strike. On the mound for the Doubledays tonight, the right-hander William Baker III, and he was the one who pitched in that game here 8 days ago and pitched a marvelous game. Went 8 innings and only surrendered the 1 run, only gave up a couple of hits. Olean pitches in there for a called strike. Baker, a native of Evans, Georgia, and a pitcher for Daytona Beach Christian University. The 0-2 pitch is up high. Oilers will send Bates, followed by Cooper Tarley, and tonight's extra hitter, Brian Fleming. And we'll get to the rest of the Oilers batting order. The 1-2 from Baker swung on and hit on the ground to second. Gonzalez has that and throws on to first a little bit low, but in time for out number 1. Ground out off the bat of Bates is how the Oilers start this bottom of the first inning. And we'll take a look at the rest of the Olean batting order. Cooper Tarley and Brian Fleming, of course, due up in this inning. Christo Hunsaker will bat in the cleanup spot. Denny Martin is the DH for the Oilers. He'll bat 5th. Derek Stout will come to the plate 6th. Connor O'Mara 7th. Anthony Radis, the catcher, bats 8th. Grant Fournier 9th. And Connor Vercoloni will bat 10th. First pitch to Cooper Tarley is swung on and fouled back. Cooper, a right-handed bat in the Oiler lineup, wears number 34. Native of the state of Massachusetts. Attends William and Mary, going into his sophomore year there. 0-1 pitch from Baker is up high. And Tarley's a guy who the Oilers feel comfortable using in all 3 outfield spots. We've seen him play in center field in a handful of games. He's in right tonight. Oilers definitely feel comfortable wherever he's at on the field defensively. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back. So a ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting Tarley. It's a fairly right-handed heavy lineup for the Oilers tonight. Few lefties. 1-2 pitch from Baker, low ball 2. Oilers are coming off of a win at Niagara Falls yesterday. That snapped a 5-game losing streak as Tarley hits this one on the ground, just down the third base line and just foul. Of course, they've had some rainouts and some postponements as well. So the weather has been, over the last couple of weeks, has sort of gotten in the way of some Oiler games. Tarley going to stand back in, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A really solid crowd here at Bradner Stadium on a Saturday night. Oilers looking for their 2nd straight win, looking to get themselves back into play in the West Division as the 2-2 pitch just misses high, ball 3. Did not miss by much, but Tarley works the full count. So a full count to Tarley, and the 3-2 pitch misses, ball 4. Oilers have their first base runner of the night. So again, something you'll have to watch is the speed with Cooper Tarley. Cooper has stolen 8 bases this year, and that leads the team. In fact, the next closest is Connor Vercoloni with 4 stolen bases. We'll see him bat 10th in the game tonight. As Brian Fleming steps up, Tarley takes off at the first pitch. It's a strike, and there's no throw to second. The 9th stolen base of the year for Cooper Tarley. That pitch just caught the inside corner, but Cooper Tarley, without a throw, takes off for second base. Looked like the ball might have bobbled out of the glove of Jose Taveras behind the plate. A 1 from Baker. Tarley breaks for third. The pitch is high. Throw down to third is not in time. The throw was high and offline. So back-to-back pitches and back-to-back stolen bases, and Cooper Tarley has 10 on the year. So Brian Fleming at the plate. And in the blink of an eye, he's gone from having a runner at first base to a potential sacrifice RBI situation. 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-hander. Fleming in his second season with the Oilers. 1-1 pitch inside, ball 2. Brian batting .357, which is certainly no surprise. He was one of the top hitters for the Oilers last year. Gets on base about 46% of the time. 2-1 pitch is low. Fleming able to check his swing. Ball 3. Fleming has drawn 4 walks this year. Trying to get number 5, and Baker stands in. A 3-1 pitch. That catches the outside corner. Strike 2. Of course, maybe a situation of, all right, you don't want to give Fleming anything good to hit. If he do end up walking him, could set up the double play and allow Baker to get out of it. Sure, he'd rather get Fleming, though. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and lifted high in the air toward deep left field. That's right on the foul line. That will be caught and left by Madrid. Tagging and coming home is Cooper Tarley, and he'll make it home. The throw cut off. It's a sac fly for Brian Fleming, and the Oilers are on the board in the first. So a sac fly for Brian Fleming brings home Cooper Tarley for Olean's first run of the game. It's the inning's second out. And Christo Hunsaker, the first baseman, will bat now. That's Brian Fleming's 4th RBI of the season. First pitch to Christo is high, ball 1. We'll take a look at the Auburn Doubledays defense. Of course, William Baker, the third on the mound. Jose Taveras is behind the plate. Justin Batts at first. Nacho Gonzalez at second. Luke Geyer at third. Connor Rumpf is the shortstop as the 1-0 pitch to Hunsaker is a called strike. In the outfield for Auburn, Jaden Madrid in left, Teddy Monahan in center, and Ethan Smith is in right. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch from Baker. Up high, ball 2. Denny Martin, the DH for the Oilers, waiting on deck if Hunsaker can find his way on base and keep the inning alive. Christo batting .233 this year. 2-1 pitch is low, ball 3. This is really not something we saw a whole lot of from Baker when he got the start here last Friday. Baker was very much in command and gave the Oilers lineup plenty of fits throughout that game. 3-1 to Hunsaker is high, ball 4, and the inning continues to bring up the DH, Denny Martin. Oilers have their second base runner of the night, and I'll bring up the DH, Denny Martin. Denny, a native of Oakland, Maine, going into his freshman year at Stonehill. He's a left-handed bat, wears number 32. Denny in somewhat limited action, batting .286. First pitch to him is taken low for a ball. Coach, throughout the night, a full slate of games going on across the PGCBL. Baker sets in the 1-0 pitch to Denny Martin. High, ball 2. Oilers are really making Baker work. And he had in that game last Friday, he was over 120 pitches in that game. 2-0 pitch to Martin, inside, ball 3. Despite throwing that many pitches, Baker pitched 8 complete and only surrendered 1 run. The Doubledays bullpen got Auburn into some trouble before they were able to hold off the Oilers' late charge. 3-0 pitch to Martin, high, ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk and back-to-back walks with 2 outs. Mentioned it before, but one of the things that drives coaches and managers as crazy as it gets is 2-out walks. 2-out walks and leadoff walks seem to be the bane of pitching coaches' existences. As out of the last 9 pitches, only 1 has been a strike from Baker. A 5-pitch walk to Christo Hunsaker, followed up by a 4-pitch walk to Denny Martin. Tavares went out to have a brief conversation with his pitcher to see how he wants to pitch to Derek Stout. Stout is not the hitter that Auburn likely wants to see in this position. He's driven in 17 runs, more than any other Oiler. Derek takes the first pitch for a called strike. Derek batting .303 on the season. Native of Jackson, Ohio, going into his sophomore year at Mercyhurst. The 0-1 pitch, lined into left field for a base hit. Rounding third and coming home to score is Hunsaker. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Denny Martin's going to round third. He's going to come home to score. And how about a 2-run, 2-out double for Derek Stout? RBIs 18 and 19 on the season, and the Oilers have rallied back to take the lead in this first inning. Their first hit of the game drives in 2 runs. How's that for turning the tables? Derek Stout stands on second. That one lined into left field and just kept rolling down that left field line. So Hunsaker and Martin both score. And he gives way to Cooper O'Mara, the shortstop. First pitch to Connor, swung on and hit to right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Rounding third and coming home to score is Derek Stout. The throw to the plate will roll and never get to home plate. It's an RBI single for Connor O'Mara. 4 straight have reached with 2 outs, and the Oilers lead 4-2. And back-to-back hits with 2 outs as well. Auburn punched in the top of the first. Olean's counterpunched with a nasty uppercut in the bottom of the first. And the catcher, Anthony Radis, will come to the plate. How about the response from the Oilers in some of these games this season as O'Mara goes. The pitch is swung on and hit on the ground. That gets past the glove of Gonzalez. He's going to reach. O'Mara's going to head for third and stop there. So things going from bad to worse for the Doubledays in this first inning. That one just rolled under Gonzalez's glove. So runners at the corners. And the inning keeps on going. That one, a slow roller, but if Gonzalez fields it cleanly, good chance they're able to throw out Radis at first. So for now, that's scored as an E4 as that one goes back to the backstop, and O'Mara is going to come home to score. Things just keep getting worse for the Doubledays in this first inning. Not to mention Anthony Radis advancing to second base on the wild pitch to Grant Fournier. Again, it's going to go down as an E4 for now. That play the ground ball to Nacho Gonzalez. And it's a 1-0 pitch to Grant Fournier. Umpire's having a conversation and kind of saying something, not exactly sure what the content of that conversation was. But either way, the Oilers have struck for 5 runs in this bottom of the first. They might not be done yet as Grant Fournier trying to drive in one more. First pitch from Baker, low. That one's going to roll to the backstop, and Radis is going to head for third. So back-to-back wild pitches from Baker. Again, this is not at all what we saw when he was here last Friday. Well, taking a look at Grant Fournier, native of Cherry Hill, New York, going into his sophomore year at Delaware, a left-handed bat. As that one swung on and hit on the ground to second, Gonzalez has that and makes the throw on to first in time for the out. Well, the Oilers get 5 straight on with 2 outs in the bottom of the first, and 5 total come home to score. A couple of RBIs, couple of hits, and a costly error by Auburn bring home all 5. We're through 1 at Bradner Stadium. Oilers up 5-2. Top of the second inning, Jake Benendo gave up 2 in the top half of the first, but he sure got some run support from his lineup as the first pitch here to Connor Rumpf misses. Seen some fireworks early. It'll be the 8, 9, and 10 batters. As Menendo's now fallen behind 2-0, we'll see Rumpf, Tavares, and Ethan Smith in this top of the second. 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. Connor Rumpf, the shortstop. And that one swung on and nubbed foul. Rumpf, a native of Byfield, Massachusetts, plays his college baseball at St. Anselm College. And he's been one of many really good Auburn hitters, batting .333 on the year. 2-2 pitch to him. Just missed ball 3. Anthony Radis held it for an extra second, thought he was going to get the strike 3 call. Ultimately, the count goes full. That one a close miss for sure. And the 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled back. So Rumpf keeps himself alive. Top of the first inning, the Doubledays had 2 hits. Both of them singles and a walk as well. Sacrifice bunt moves some runners into scoring position. Both runners came home to score. 3-2 from Menendo. Just off the plate, ball 4. And a leadoff walk issued to Connor Rumpf in the top of the second. So the catcher, Jose Tavares, will bat now. Tavares, a native of Clearmont, Florida, plays his college baseball at Tallahassee State, wears number 34. First pitch to Jose is swung on and hit on a line to center. That's going to get down for a base hit. It's bobbled out in center field by Fournier, but ultimately no harm, no foul. As Tavares will still be held to a single, Connor Rumpf slides into third. Third hit of the night for Auburn, as the first two have reached here in the top of the second. So runners at the corners and nobody out for the 10-spot hitter, Ethan Smith. Smith, another right-hander in the lineup for Auburn. That one buzzes the tower. Smith has to spin away from that. Ethan, a native of Riverside, Illinois, plays his college baseball at Denison University. Also a pitcher for the Doubledays. That one hit on the ground to first. On to second for one. Back to first for two. A 3-6-3 double play turned by the Oilers' infield defense. Rumpf does come home to score, but the Oilers will trade 2 outs for a run. So no RBI given to Ethan Smith there on the double play. First and second outs of the inning. Rumpf comes home to score. First pitch to Jaden Madrid is a ball. 1-0 just misses ball 2. So Jake not only getting some run support on the offensive end, but also getting some solid help from his infield defense. A nice play by Christo Hunsaker to start that double play. 2-0 pitch is a called strike. Madrid singled and came around to score back in the top of the first inning. Scored 1 of 2 for Auburn in that first. 2-1 pitch from Menendo. High ball 3. Menendo gets set for the 3-1 pitch. That one hit on the ground. A second, Thomas Bates has got it and throws on to first in time for the out. So the Oilers' infield defense showing off their prowess. A run does come home to score, but going to the bottom of the second, Oilers still lead by 2. It's 5-3 at Bradner Stadium. Bottom of the second inning, Oilers enjoying a 5-3 lead here at Bradner Stadium. I'm Matt Volz. The 10-1-2 batters due up for the Oilers after an inning in which they put up 5 runs 4 of those coming home to score with 2 outs as well. And the 10-spot batter, Connor Vercoloni, will lead things off. First pitch to him is just off the plate, ball 1. Well, Connor's a very good base runner. Stolen 4 bases for the Oilers this year. That's the second most on the team. Batting average, he'd like to be a little bit higher, batting 172. 1-0 pitch misses low, ball 2. We'll see Vercoloni followed by Thomas Bates and Cooper Tarley here in the bottom of the second. William Baker III trying to have a better inning than the bottom of the first went for him, as, of course, 5 came home to score, which is 4 more than he allowed in 8 innings here last Friday night. A marvelous performance against the Oilers in a 10-7 Auburn win. 2-1 to Baker. That one floats into the zone. Strike 2. Nice curveball there from Baker. Count will go even. Connor Vercoloni, native of Plymouth, Massachusetts, a redshirt senior at St. Bonaventure. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So the first strikeout we've seen for either team tonight as Vercoloni is down swinging. That'll bring up the second baseman, Thomas Bates. He grounded out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. But Thomas, the Olean native, going into his senior year at John Carroll, has been very good for the Oilers this season, batting .380. Again, back for another year. The sort of veteran presence that has really anchored the Oilers' infield defense, as the first pitch is a called strike on the inside corner. Thomas Bates getting on base coming in at tonight more than 50% of the time. On base percentage .508. 0-1 pitch swung on and hit on the ground. That'll get through for a base hit. Bates with a 1-out single right up the middle. Third hit of the night for the Oilers, and Bates is on base for the first time. Attacking on an 0-1 pitch and putting the ball in place. Done that both times, and that time he's rewarded with a base hit. So Cooper Tarley will come to the plate. Tarley walked, stole 2 bags, and then came around to score on a sacrifice fly that initially, when it happened in the first inning, cut the Auburn lead in half, and then the Oilers just erupted with more offense when there were 2 outs. We'll see if Bates thinks about taking off for second. First pitch from Baker is a called strike. Thomas Bates has only stolen 1 base this year. This is only an attempt, but he's got some solid speed, so he could certainly make it there if he decides to go. 0-1 pitch swung on and hit on the ground to short. Could be 2 to second for 1, and that's the only play they'll have. So a fielder's choice off the bat of Tarley's. He was hustling up the line, and that's out number 2 in the bottom of the second. So that'll bring the E.H. Brian Fleming up, and Fleming had an RBI back in the first inning, a sacrifice fly to left that brought Cooper Tarley home to score. Even though there's 2 outs, we'll see if Cooper thinks about heading for second. Would not be surprised if he does. Cooper's already stolen 2 bases tonight. That gives him 10 on the year. First pitch to Fleming, skips in the dirt, heads back to the backstop. Tarley's not even going to have to worry about it. Rounding second and racing towards third, though. The throw to third is going to be in time. Tarley can't believe it. He thought for sure his foot was on the bag. Eric Hemphill having a conversation with the infield umpire. He is not happy. Thought for sure that the tag missed Cooper Tarley. Again, hard for us to see, and now the infield umpire really getting into it. And here comes Mike Threehouse. So we'll see if anything comes of this, but Tarley racing around second on the pitch that went back to the backstop. Tried to take third as well. A good throw from Tavares. Oilers really thought he was safe. Infield umpire says out, and he's getting an earful from Mike Threehouse, as he did from Eric Hemphill as well. But either way, nothing further is going to come of it, and we will make our way to the third inning. Oilers still lead Auburn 5-3. On to the third inning here at Bradner Stadium, and number 3, Nacho Gonzalez, comes to the plate against Jake Menendo. Takes the first pitch for a strike, chest high. So that end of the inning was a little bit frustrating for the Oilers. They thought for sure that Cooper Tarley was safe at second. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and sent foul. Again, a little bit tough to see from our vantage point for anybody who is unfamiliar with the dynamics of Bradner Stadium. Our view in the press box is right down the first base side, down the right field line, almost right over top of first base. The 0-2 pitch is cut on and missed. Gonzalez strikes out. Menendo has his first K of the night, a 3-pitch strikeout to Nacho Gonzalez. One gone. But that play at third, again, Cooper Tarley, probably about one of the only players who has the speed to make that work, to go from first to third on a pitch all the way back to the backstop. Certainly made it close. Didn't hesitate rounding second as well. At least from our vantage point, and perhaps with our Oilers colored glasses, looked like he was safe, but ultimately ruled out at third, and we move on. Flynn Shoup, the DH, at the plate. Shoup had a very well-placed sacrifice bunt back in the first inning to move runners into scoring position. 1-0 pitch is a called strike. And that bunt back in the first inning about as well as you can place one. Christo Hunsaker charging. They were able to make the play as Shoup swings and pops up the 1-1 pitch into shallow right. Cooper Tarley calls the infielders off, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. First 2 set down by Menendo. A soft pop out to right field. And Teddy Monahan up next. Monahan introduced himself to Cooper Tarley back in the first inning. A sacrifice fly to right field drove in Auburn's first run of the game. First pitch to him here from Jake Menendo is up high for a ball. Just one strikeout for both batters so far in this game. 1-0 pitch to Monahan. That one low, ball 2. Hits are 3 apiece. Menendo into the windup, and the 2-0 pitch to Teddy Monahan. Swung on and fouled back. Teddy, a native of Wayne, Pennsylvania, plays for the University of Rochester. There's a few U of R Yellow Jackets on the Doubledays roster. 2-1 pitch from Jake Menendo is just low, ball 3. That one just a little bit low, and again, it's an encouraging sign for Menendo that, you know, when he has missed the zone, it really has not been by much. The 3-1 pitch. There's a strike. That's sort of been Jake's calling card is, you know, he'll pick up a few strikeouts, but really thrives on generating weak contact and letting his defense play. 3-2 pitch to him, high, ball 4, and a 2-out walk keeps the inning going. Just lost him on a 3-2 pitch. So the Doubledays have had somebody on in all 3 innings. And it'll bring Justin Batts to the plate. Batts walked back in the first. Runner at first and 2 outs for him. First pitch from Jake Menendo swung on and popped up down the right field line. That will go out of play. Hear that one clang off the bleachers just below the press box. Again, Bradner Stadium, for anybody unfamiliar, is a dual-purpose stadium, has been used for both baseball and football for many years. So the press box down the sideline as it would be for football as they check on the runner. Monahan at first, he's back in safely. A 1 pitch for Menendo with the runner going. That one hit on the ground. Bates snares it and steps on the bag at second for the 3rd out. Well, a 2-out walk does not come back to hurt the Oilers. We'll make our way to the home half of the third. Olean still up 5-3. Bottom of the third, Oilers up 5-3. It's Brian Fleming back up at the plate. He was at the plate in the bottom of the second inning when everything happened with the Tarley advancing on the ball that went back to the backstop and ultimately was called out at third as Fleming swings and misses at the first pitch. It'll be Fleming followed by Christo Hunsaker and Danny Martin. Baker gets set. The 0-1 pitch to Fleming. Swung on and hit on the ground. That'll get underneath Gonzalez. A base hit. A leadoff single for Brian Fleming in the bottom of the third. Fourth hit of the night for the Oilers, and Fleming's had himself a really solid night so far. So Christo Hunsaker to the plate. First pitch to Hunsaker from Baker is a called strike. Brian Fleming runs well at first. Not a necessarily career base stealer, but certainly has the capability. 0-1 pitch from Hunsaker swung on and fouled back. So Christo Hunsaker walked back in the first inning and came around to score. He's behind 0-2 here. Fleming a short lead off of first. 0-2 pitch to Christo. That one is up high. Tavares faked the throw back down to first, ultimately not able to hang on to the ball. But Fleming dove back in safely. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the first baseman, Christo Hunsaker. And the pitch from Baker, big swing, and it comes up empty. And they say he got a piece of it. I think so. I think Baker thought that he got him on strike 3, but ultimately Hunsaker did get a piece of it. So the count remains 1-2. Baker gives a look to Fleming behind him, and the 1-2 pitch. Christo swings and pops this one up over on the third base side. Geyer giving chase. He will watch this go out of play. So Hunsicker gets another shot on a 1-2 pitch. Again, Cristo looking to get the batting average more up towards where he wants it, but he's been very solid over at first base for the Oilers this season and has done a good job overall of getting himself on base. 1-2 pitch from Baker. That skips in the dirt. Fleming's going to head for second base, and the throw is going to be late. So that one in the dirt. Tavares couldn't find it for a moment, and that's going to cost the Doubledays a base. Yeah, Tavares just not able to find that, and Fleming into scoring position. So now a runner in scoring position. 2-2 pitch swung on and hit on the ground to short, and the only play they'll have is over at first, and that throw in time. So a productive out off the bat of Cristo Hunsicker sends Brian Fleming over to third. And with only one out, that sets Denny Martin up with a chance to possibly drive in a run and add to this Oiler lead. A 6-3 ground out off the bat of Hunsicker for the inning's first out. And the DH, Denny Martin, will bat. Martin was walked back in the first and came home to score. Now is a 4-pitch walk. That one misses ball one. Denny hadn't seen a strike yet. And Denny Martin batting .286 on the year. He's driven in 6. Martin swings and hits this one through. That's going to get through for a base hit. Fleming will score. It's an RBI single for Denny Martin, his 7th of the year. 5th hit of the night for the Oilers, and they've got a 6-3 lead. Denny Martin with the clutch hitting, and again, that's been something that the Oilers lineup has really done well for the most part of this year. That clutch hitting, that was certainly the case in the 9th inning against these guys last Friday. So it's Derek Stout, the Oiler third baseman and the team leader in RBIs. He drove home 2 with a double to left. And this one hit in the air toward left. That's going back at the wall. That is down and gone. Derek Stout with a 2-run shot. And the Oilers have an 8-3 lead. So that one, the lights kind of gave that one some trouble. Almost looked like it took a bounce, but ultimately hops just over the left field wall. It's a 2-run home run for Derek Stout. He has driven in 4 runs tonight. What a game for Derek Stout so far. Derek has driven in 21 runs on the season. So Connor O'Mara up with the Oilers now enjoying an 8-3 lead. He swings and fouls off the first pitch. Connor drove in a run with an RBI single back in the first and then came around to score himself. Trying to follow up the Derek Stout home run, and he takes the 0-1 pitch low and inside, ball 1. O'Mara standing back in. Baker's had a rough go, but here through the early part of this game, that one finds the bottom corner of the zone for a strike. And again, very much not what the Doubledays are used to seeing from William Baker III. He's had an excellent season so far. This is his 4th start of the year and came into tonight 3-0. 1-1 pitch swung on and hit to center. That's going to get down for a base hit. O'Mara 2 for 2 tonight. So now a runner at first and another hit for the Oilers. 7th hit of the night for the Oilers. That single for Connor O'Mara, their 3rd straight hit. And now Anthony Radis at the plate. Radis reached on an error back in the 1st inning. O'Mara takes off for second, pitches a ball, throw to second is not in time. O'Mara beats the throw and gets a stolen base. So for Connor this season, that's his 4th stolen base. He is 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts. 1-0 to Anthony Radis. Big lead off of second for O'Mara. That one in the dirt. Tavares can't find it, and O'Mara's easily going to head for third. That one down in the dirt, and Tavares again couldn't find it. That has been an issue for Jose Tavares behind the plate tonight. There's been a lot of times where the ball's been in the dirt, and he's just struggled to find it. A couple times where it's gone behind him, a couple times where it's been right in front of him, almost right in the batter's box, and isn't able to locate it. And it's cost him some base runners moving up, as is the case right now with Connor O'Mara over at third. So Radis trying to see if he can't add to this Oiler lead. 2-0 pitch, low and inside, ball 3. Grant Fournier waiting on deck as Anthony Radis tries to get on base for the 2nd time tonight. 3-0 pitch with the infield in, swung on and fouled back. Radis had the green light on 3-0. We were originally expecting to see Antonio Cordero behind the plate for the Oilers tonight, but a late scratch and Radis added to the lineup. 3-1 the count to the right-handed hitting catcher Anthony Radis. 3-1 from Baker, swung on and hit in the air down the right field line, but foul. So a full count, haven't seen a ton of those tonight. Baker trying to get something going in the right direction for the Doubledays. 3-2 pitch to Radis, swing and a miss, he struck him out. So Baker comes back from down 3-0 and strikes out Anthony Radis for out number 2. That's a big second out as it takes away any kind of a sacrifice situation with the runner at third. 2nd strikeout of the night for Baker, and it brings up Grant Fournier. Fournier grounded out to end the Oilers' explosive 1st inning where they scored 5 runs. They've gotten 3 across in this inning. First one to Fournier is a strike called on the inside corner. Fournier, a lefty, wears number 30. Again, primarily righties, but a decent amount of lefties in the Oiler lineup. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back. So Fournier behind 0-2 as the Oilers have shown off their power in this game. A couple of extra base hits, both off the bat of Derek Stout. 2-run double and a 2-run homer. 0-2 pitch to Fournier. That one floats just high of the zone. Oilers offense has played at 8. We're still in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Baker takes a look over at O'Mara at third. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and hit into center field. That is dropping. That's down for a hit. O'Mara will score. It's an RBI single for Fournier, and the Oilers take a 9-3 lead. Their 4th run of the inning, 8th hit of the game. And an RBI single coming with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Fournier drives in the run. O'Mara comes home to score. Grant Fournier driving in his 7th run of the year, and a meeting on the mound for the Doubledays. There is a right-hander warming up in their bullpen. That right-hander appears to be number 12, James Hotfleisch, who we saw in the game against Auburn back on June 19th. So Connor Vercoloni, the number 9 spot hitter, It's in the early going in this game, but he's the only Oiler who hasn't reached base yet. Vercoloni 0 for 1, struck out swinging back in the second. He led off that bottom of the second inning. So Vercoloni will step back into the batter's box, try to get himself on with Grant Fournier over at first. First pitch from Baker, up high for a ball. Connor Vercoloni, 4 for 6 on stolen base attempt. There goes Fournier, the throw to second, not in time. Whoa. They say the tag from Gonzalez just off the mark. Grant Fournier steals second base, his second stolen base of the season. So the Oilers again being very active on the base paths. They have not hesitated to take off for second. 1-1 pitch to Vercoloni is in there for strike two. Vercoloni trying to put the Oilers in double digits here in the bottom of the third. And the 1-2 pitch, just high, ball two. Baker gives a look in, and the 2-2 to Vercoloni. Strike three called, he froze him. Vercoloni thought that one was outside. Ultimately, it's strike three. Oilers leave one on, but four more come home to cross the plate, including a two-run blast off the bat of Derek Stout. Oilers with a commanding 9-3 lead heading to the fourth at Bradner Stadium. To the fourth inning we go here at Bradner Stadium. First pitch to the leadoff man, Luke Geyer, is a ball. We'll see Geyer followed by Dustin Wortham and Connor Rumpf. 1-0 pitch, misses, ball two. Oilers plated 4 runs in that bottom of the third inning. And what a game for Derek Stout so far. A 2-run double in the first inning. 2-run homer last inning. 2-0 to Geyer. That's a strike called chest high. Take a look at some of the other games across the PGCBL. The Batavia Muck Dogs hosting the Niagara Ironbacks in a doubleheader as Geyer sends that one down the left field line. That is just fair. Geyer rounding first, heading for second. Throw into second is going to be just a little bit late. Coming in from Vercoloni, it's a leadoff double for Luke Geyer. So the first extra base hit the Doubledays have put on the board tonight. Luke Geyer in scoring position, and Dustin Wortham steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 1. Taking a look at the scores around the league, the Batavia Muckdogs in the first half of their doubleheader, a 6-inning Mercy Rule 12-0 win over the Niagara Ironbacks. They are just getting the second game of that doubleheader underway at Dwyer Stadium. No score yet. First pitch here from Menendo misses for ball 1. Other score updates, top of the fourth inning in Newark. The Newark Pilots with a 3-0 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. Newark looking for just their second win of the season as the 1-0 pitch is sent foul down the right field line. Bottom of the fourth inning in Socrates. The Socrates Stallions lead the Oneonta Outlaws 5-2. Top of the fifth inning over at Dietrich Park in Jamestown. The Niagara Falls Americans and Jamestown Tarp Skunks are tied 1. 2-0 pitch from Jake Menendo just misses, ball 3 to Wortham. So he's falling behind now 3-1. Menendo takes a look behind him. And the 3-1 pitch to Wortham, swing and a miss. Count will go full. Wortham 0 for 1, grounded out to end the top of the first inning, and it was the top of the first where Auburn put 2 on the board. Menendo will check on the runner at second, and the ball's going to go into center field, but not far enough. Very well backed up by Grant Fournier. Not far enough into center field where Luke Geyer felt comfortable advancing toward third. So ultimately, no harm, no foul. Bottom of the third inning in Mohawk Valley. The Amsterdam Mohawks have a 6-0 lead, looking for their 12th straight win. 3-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Struck him out. Menendo picks up his second strikeout of the night. And Dustin Wortham is down 1 out. So Wortham strikes out, and it brings in Connor Rumpf. Rumpf walked and came around to score back in the second inning. Runner at second is Geyer. And 1 out. First pitch from Menendo just misses inside, ball 1. Oilers out hitting the Doubledays 8-4 so far in the game. We do have one other score update from the game in Utica. First, the 1-0 pitch from Menendo is high, ball 2. Bottom of the second inning in Utica in that game between the Blue Sox and the Boonville Lumberjacks. Boonville out to a 1-0 lead. And, of course, Oilers up 9-3 here in the fourth. 2-0 pitch for Menendo. That's a called strike. Jose Taveras waiting on deck for the Doubledays. And Geyer not a whole lot of speed over at second. 2-1 pitch is high, ball 3. Jake trying to lock down the command. Connor Rumpf, the shortstop, gives a look to Menendo, and the 3-1 pitch is swung on and sent foul. That'll head into the street. So he'll stand back in the righty-righty matchup here in the top of the fourth. Radis gives Menendo the sign. He gives him a nod, and the 3-2 pitch to Rumpf. Low, ball 4. That one low and away, and 2 on in the fourth for Auburn. Connor Rumpf walks for the second straight time. And Jose Taveras, the catcher, will come to the plate. Taveras singled back in the second inning. And now the infield going to come in and have a conversation with Jake Menendo. Try and get him calmed down a bit. Just give him a breather. As he's got runners at first and second with one out behind him. Oilers still enjoying a 6-run lead thanks to a first inning outburst of 5 runs and then 4 more added on in the third. That comparing with 2 runs in the top of the first for Auburn and 1 in the top of the second. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Doubledays. 9 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Oilers. It's been a solid game for Olean. Again, the conversation with Menendo, just trying to give him a little bit of a breather, just, not worrying too much. Also try and take some of the pressure off him, remind him, obviously you don't want to fall too much behind, but don't stress overly too much. As the Oilers enjoying a 6-run lead and an excellent, excellent crowd for another lovely Saturday night game at Bradner Stadium. So the catcher, Jose Taveras, at the plate and nearly caught Geyer in a rundown. Geyer had an early jump off of second. Menendo turned around, fired it back. Geyer just barely able to get back in safely. Menendo keeping a close eye on Geyer over at second. First pitch here to Taveras is high, ball 1. I think part of the meeting on the mound, too, could have been, just talking about not focusing on velocity, blowing pitches by batters as much, Yes, throwing 90 miles an hour is great, but the control of it is what makes a pitcher truly excellent. He has it there. The 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike. That is one thing that Jake does very well. He's really shown the Houdini ability to get himself out of some tough situations this year. The 2-1 pitch, that's a called strike on the inside corner. Don't think Taveras agreed with that, but again, as I've mentioned seemingly every game, we don't have the automatic balls and strike challenges here in the PGCBL. Maybe someday, but that day has not come upon us yet. 2-2 from Menendo. Swung on and hit into shallow left, but right to Connor Vercoloni in left field for out number 2. So the 10-spot batter, Ethan Smith, will come to the plate, and the ABS system has really been, I think, received very well in Major League Baseball. Kind of when it was first described and first being implemented in the minor leagues, it sounded like it was going to take something away from the game, but it's ensured that a lot of calls that would not have been correct will be correct. That one misses for ball 1. Well, if I'm Anthony Radis and we had the ABS challenge, that's one that I might have tapped the top of my head for, but alas, it's 1-0. 1-0 pitch from Menendo. That one inside, ball 2. Luke Geyer, the runner at second. Connor Rumpf at first. And a 2-0 pitch to the right fielder, Ethan Smith. Pitch is low. Smith checks his swing, does not go around, and he's ahead 3-0 on Menendo. Top of the order waiting on deck if Smith can keep the line moving for Auburn. 3-0 pitch on its way. That's high and inside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Ethan Smith, so not what you want there. And the bases are loaded here with 2 outs. Just a little bit of a loss of control there for Menendo. Geyer heads over to third. Rumpf going for second. Bases are loaded with the leadoff spot hitter Jaden Madrid at the plate, and now we're going to have a meeting on the mound, and that looks like that might be all for Jake Menendo. So Menendo departs in the top of the fourth inning, 3 2/3. Gives up 3 runs, 4 hits, walks a few, and departs with the bases loaded. So the very recent graduate of Olean High School, Austin Miles, steps to the plate for the Oilers, and as he completes his warm-up tosses, we'll step aside. Oilers up 9-3. So in the top of the fourth, Austin Miles into a tough situation, bases loaded, but does have 2 outs for the leadoff man, Jaden Madrid. And the first pitch to Jaden is a called strike. Austin, of course, just graduated from Olean High School, so many congratulations to him. He's going to be playing college baseball for SUNY Niagara, and the 0-1 pitch is in there for strike 2. So Austin ahead early, 0-2 on Madrid. The 0-2 pitch, that one high and inside, that buzzed the tower. Madrid had to duck to get out of the way of that. So Austin's pitching numbers this season, this is his 3rd appearance, all in relief. Opponents batting .343 against him. The 1-2 pitch, low, ball 2. Comes in with an ERA of 10.13, but again, small sample size for the youngster. 2-2 pitch is swung on and hit to right. That's going to get down for a base hit. One will score. Here comes another. Throw to the plate is going to be just barely not in time. It's a 2-run single off the bat of Jaden Madrid, and it's 9-5. 5th hit of the game, 2 runs driven in. Madrid's on base for the 2nd time. As Geyer and Connor Rumpf both come home to score. And Ethan Smith heads for 3rd. Nacho Gonzalez up for the 3rd time of the game. He walked and scored in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. First pitch from Miles is a strike called. Madrid was dancing off of first base. Austin doing a good job of getting ahead, but ended up losing him. Now they might have the runners in a rundown, and instead everybody's going to be safe. And Madrid's going to head for 2nd. Didn't want to risk it on a throw, so Madrid into scoring position. That again looked like a case of just not wanting to, you've already allowed a couple of runs this inning, not wanting to risk a potential overthrow or bobble or anything like that that could lead to further offensive damage. 1-1 pitch from Miles, swung on and popped up on the third base side. Stout will look over and watch that bounce foul out of play. So Gonzalez standing back in as Miles tries to get out of this inning. The 1-2 pitch, low. That one just misses low to Gonzalez. Miles gives the nod to Radis, and the pitch swung on and hit on the ground. Down the line, a nice play by Hunsaker and an underhand to the pitcher, Miles covering. Oh, some outstanding infield defense by the Oilers there, and two are stranded on. Two come home to score with a multiple run single off the bat of Jaden Madrid. We're making our way to the bottom of the fourth inning at Bradner Stadium. Oilers lead it 9-5. We're back around to the top of the Oilers order here in the bottom of the fourth. They lead the Auburn Doubledays 9-5 here at Bradner Stadium. First pitch to Thomas Bates is a called strike. We'll see Bates followed by Cooper Tarley and Brian Fleming. Oilers have had two huge offensive innings in the first and third. Hoping for more of that in the fourth. The 0-1 pitch is low. William Baker, the third, out there again for the fourth. There was a right-hander, James Hopefleisch, warming up in the Auburn bullpen last inning. Ultimately, he does not come in. The 1-1 pitch is hit on the ground to short. Rumpf throws on to first, and a nice stretch by Justin Batts for out number one. So Bates grounds out for the second time tonight. That's the first out of the bottom of the fourth, and Cooper Tarley comes to the plate. Well, Cooper Tarley has had quite the eventful night. He walked in the first, stole second and third, and then came home to score on a sac fly. In the second inning, reached on a fielder's choice, and on a pitch that went all the way back to the backstop, got to second and was heading for third and was thrown out at third on a throw that looked like he was safe. Infield umpire certainly heard it from the Oilers coaching staff. Tarley trying to get back on and use his speed. as the 1-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. Baker looking in for the right sign. And the 1-1 pitch, Charlie, big swing, comes up empty. We know Cooper's got some power in his bat. Oilers have hit now 3 home runs here at Bradner Stadium this season. Cooper Tarley had one of them. Derek Stout hit the 3rd of the season earlier tonight. 1-2 pitch skips in the dirt. As a matter of fact, that home run was last inning. 1-2 pitch misses low to Tarley. And you know, Cooper's quite the base stealer when you can see the front of his jersey looks to be more dirt stained than cleaned white as the 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled back out of play. That'll go into the street. And the lucky Oilers fan who goes to get that ball will bring it back to the dugout and be rewarded with a nice piece of candy for their troubles, which is always fun. Not sure what kind of candy they have down there, but hopefully something good. Well, it's Jolly Ranchers. We're getting the official confirmation as the 2-2 pitch is low. My insider sources in the press box are telling me it's Jolly Ranchers that are down in the Oiler dugout, so I'd rate Jolly Ranchers at about a 7 out of 10 probably on the candy scale. The 3-2 pitch swung on and lifted in the air toward right. That is going to be caught by Ethan Smith for out number 2. That's, of course, not to say that Jolly Ranchers are not a high-quality candy item. There are others that I might think of before Jolly Ranchers entered my mind, but certainly nothing to scoff at, and definitely worth it to go grab a foul ball that's gone and said hello to State Street. So Brian Fleming, the extra hitter at the plate with nobody on and 2 out. He'll take the first pitch up high for ball 1. Brian drove in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the first, singled to lead off the 3rd, and came home to score. 1-0 pitch to him is swung on and fouled back sharply. So it'll be interesting to see how far into the game Auburn is comfortable with having Baker go, and I'm sure a lot of that will depend on whether he's able to get Fleming here. 1-1 pitch from Baker, skips in the dirt and heads all the way back to the backstop. Again, there was a righty warming up in the Doubledays bullpen last inning, but he's since been set down. So this is Baker's, at least Baker's inning. Oilers starter has already been pulled from the game. Jake Menendo's night is finished. 2-1 pitch is swung on and popped up in foul territory off the third base side. That's going to go out of play. So 2-2 as Fleming stands back in and tries to keep the line moving. Christo Hunsaker waiting on deck if he can do that. Two balls and 2 strikes on Fleming, and the pitch from Baker swung on and hit in the air towards center. That is playable, and that will be caught by Teddy Monahan. Well, for the first time all night, the offense goes down in order. A 1-2-3 inning for Baker. We make our way to the 5th here at Bradner Stadium. Oilers leading Auburn 9-5. So the 3, 4, and 5 batters due up for the Oilers in the top of the, or due up for the Doubledays against Austin Miles here in the top of the 5th. First pitch is swung on and missed to Flynn Shoop, the DH, who is 0 for 2 on the night. Shoop swings at the 0-1 pitch, lifts that down the left field line. That will bounce foul. It'll be Shoop, followed by Teddy Monahan and Justin Batts. Oh, 2 pitch from Miles. Strike 3 called. He got him. A strikeout on 3 straight pitches, and that's how Austin Miles starts the top of the 5th inning. Shoop is 0 for 3. And that'll bring the center fielder Teddy Monahan to the plate. Monahan drove in a run with a sac fly back in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. So the first pitch here to Monahan is a strike called at the bottom of the zone. Really solid Auburn offensive team as a whole. The Doubledays batting .310 overall on the year as the 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. One pitch swung on and chopped foul. And a 1-2 pitch swung on and popped up in foul territory. That'll head out of play and headed in the street behind us. One ball and 2 strikes to the center fielder Monahan. And the pitch from Miles. That one bounces in the dirt. Try to get him to chase it. One that was down low. Doubledays, 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Oilers, 9 runs on 8 hits, have not committed an error. 2-2 from Miles. Swung on and chopped foul. Monahan just got a piece of it. Two balls and 2 strikes. Miles gives a nod to Anthony Radis behind the plate, and the 2-2 pitch to Monahan. That skips in the dirt and rolls back to the backstop, ball 3. Temperature has dropped a bit since the start of the game. In the low 70s, we were right around 78 at the start of the game. And the 3-2 pitch, low, ball 4. So Miles loses Monahan, and it's a 1-out walk. Teddy Monahan walks for the 2nd time tonight. So the first baseman, Justin Batts, to the plate. Batts, the first baseman, walked in the 1st. And grounded out in the 3rd. He'll take the first pitch here for a ball. Justin Batts, a righty in the Auburn lineup. 1-0 from Miles. Floats inside, ball 2. This has turned into a somewhat lengthy game so far. A lot of offense. That one hit on the ground and buzzes through for a base hit. Rounding second and heading for third is Monahan. The throw from right field is a good one, but it's just a little bit too far up the line. A really nice throw from right by Cooper Tarley, but on the base hit, Teddy Monahan heads for third. 6th hit of the night And Justin Batts is on base for the second time. So Luke Geyer to the plate, and Geyer had a great game when the Doubledays were here last week. He's had a really nice one so far tonight, too. 2 for 2 with a couple of hits, a run scored, and drove in a run as well. First pitch to him skips in the dirt, kept in front by Radis. Runners at the corners and 1 out as the Doubledays try and claw back against the Oilers the same way the Oilers clawed back in the 9th against them in the game last week. Of course, a much larger deficit. 1-0 to Geyer is low, ball 2. So Miles, after striking out the leadoff man, has run into some slight control issues, and the Oilers are going to have a meeting on the mound. So again, this will be just a brief meeting on the mound. Miles will stay in the game, I would assume. A little bit of activity in the Oiler bullpen, but Austin's going to try and tough it out here in this top of the 5th inning. Runners at the corners, 1 out, and a 2-0 pitch upcoming to the left-handed hitting third baseman Luke Geyer. Geyer stands back in. Miles has a sign, a 2-0 pitch. That finds the zone for a strike. Good pitch there by Austin to get himself back into it. Against Luke Geyer, not to be confused with 2016 World Series participant Brandon Geyer. 2-1 pitch is pulled down the line, foul. Geyer was an outfielder for Cleveland in that epic World Series between them and the Chicago Cubs. They spell their last names differently, though. Brandon Geyer is G-U-Y-E-R, as Geyer swings and hits that one off the end of the bat and foul. Luke Geyer spells it G-U-I-R-E. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Geyer, and that one misses. Ball 3, count will go full. And all this happening after the leadoff man, Austin Miles, was able to strike out Flynn Shoop to start this inning. 3-2 pitch is swung on and lifted high in the air toward right center field. Playable and caught by Fournier. Tagging and coming home is Teddy Monahan. The throw will be cut off. It's a sac fly for Geyer. And Auburn cuts into the Oilers' lead. It's 9-6. So a sac fly off the bat of Luke Geyer, and he continues an excellent night that he's had. So now runner at first and 2 down for the EH, Dustin Wortham. First pitch is a strike. Wortham 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, struck out in the 4th. 0-1 from Miles is swung on and fouled back. Miles is set, the 0-2 pitch, low and away, ball 1. Austin trying to get out of this inning and still preserve the Oilers' multi-run lead. Give the offense a chance to get it rolling here in the bottom of this inning. The 1-2 pitch for Miles, swung on and hit on the ground. Miles has got that, and he'll throw to first in time for out number 3. So run does come home to score, but otherwise Austin Miles gets out of the trouble. No further damage done. We are halfway through 9 innings, heading to the bottom of the 5th at Bradner Stadium. Oilers lead the Auburn Doubledays 9-6. Bottom of the fifth, the Oilers lead the Auburn Doubledays 9-6 here at Bradner Stadium. I'm Matt Volz. It's Christo Hunsaker leading things off for the Oilers in this inning, and he fouls off the first pitch. William Baker III still in the game for Auburn, and that likely because of the 1-2-3 inning he had in the fourth, shutting down the top three batters in the Oilers order. A 1 pitch to Christo is taken high and inside, ball one. The Oilers first baseman walked and scored in the first inning, grounded out in the third. 1-1 pitch, big swing. Hunsaker comes up empty on a pitch that was low. In this half inning, we'll see Christo Hunsaker, Denny Martin, and Derek Stout. Both Martin and Stout have had fantastic games tonight. Hunsaker sets in, and the 1-2 pitch, high ball two. Christo not fooled by that. Infield at standard depth, 2-2 pitch to Hunsaker, swung on and foul back into the street behind Bradner Stadium. And we talked about Christo, wanting to get the batting average up a little bit more, but his on-base percentage is very good. Gets on base right around 43% of the time. Batting average 233, so he'll look to get that up a little bit more. 2-2 pitch, low ball three. So Baker stands in on a 3-2, and the 3-2 pitch to Hunsaker, swung on and hit in the air toward right. That is in foul territory, and that'll drop out of play. So another 3-2 pitch incoming to Christo Hunsaker, who's making Baker work in this at bat. Oilers really have all night. 3-2 pitch in the dirt, ball four, and they get a leadoff walk. So Hunsaker with a good at bat, he's rewarded with his second walk of the night. That'll bring the DH Denny Martin to the plate. Denny's had a very good night. Martin walked and scored in the first inning. Denny Martin walked and scored in the first inning, drove in a run with an RBI single in the third, and then came around to score himself. Runner at first is Christo Hunsaker. First pitch to Denny Martin is low in the dirt, ball one. The middle of the order has really had an outstanding game. The 5, 6, and 7 spots of Martin, Stout, and O'Mara have all gotten on base 6 times in 6 opportunities. 1-0 pitch to Denny Martin. That's a called strike at the bottom of the zone. Martin, the DH for the Oilers, and Denny's had a very solid season, batting .286. Limited sample size. This is only the third game he started this year. 1-1 pitch is sent down the left field line, but foul. So Christo Hunsaker, again, we talked about, not a big base stealer either. He's stolen 1 on the year so far in his only stolen base attempt. And now Baker will step off the mound as time is called. Take a look at some of the other scores across the PGCBL while we have a moment. Top of the 6th in Newark. The Newark Pilots still lead the Geneva Red Wings 3-1. 1-2 pitch to Denny Martin, swung on and fouled, and he fouled it off of himself. Martin looked like he fouled that off the right foot. So he'll hobble off of that. take a look at some of the other scores. Bottom of the sixth in Socrates, the Socrates Stallions have opened up a 10-3 lead over the Oneonta Outlaws, trying to chase down Amsterdam for the top spot in the East Division. Amsterdam in the top of the fifth, a 12-2 lead at Mohawk Valley. Amsterdam trying to win their 12th straight game. 1-2 pitch here to Denny is swung on and hit high in the air, out of play down the left field line in foul territory, and caught by Luke Geyer for the inning's first out. Geyer had a good read on that. That's one that a lot of times we might see get lost in the lights as the sun goes down, and the lights can play some tricks on the fielders, but not that time. That one secured easily for out number one. So it's Derek Stout coming to the plate, and Derek has had a fantastic game tonight swinging the bat. First inning, drove in two with a double, and then came around to score himself as Hunsaker takes off for second. That one swung on and fell back. Oilers were trying the hit and run. Ultimately, Hunsaker will have to head back. So Derek, a two-run double and scored in the first inning. In the third inning, a two-run home run over the left field wall. 0-1 pitch to him here as a ball snap throw back down to first, and Hunsaker's back in safely. Looking at some of the other games going on, top of the sixth in Utica, the Utica Blue Sox have a 3-2 lead over the Boonville Lumberjacks. 1-1 pitch to Stout is skipped in the dirt, ball two. Hunsaker able to retreat back to first. Top of the third inning in the second game of a doubleheader between the Niagara Ironbacks and Batavia Muck Dogs at Dwyer Stadium. Batavia leading that game 3-1. 2-1 pitch is swung on and hit high in the air toward left, but that is playable, and that will be caught by Madrid for out number two. So Derek Stout is set down for the first time tonight, as was Denny Martin before him. We'll see if Connor O'Mara can have a different fate. O'Mara 2 for 2, an RBI single and scored a run in the first, singled and scored again in the third. It's been a very good night for the Oiler lineup. And trying to add to that here in the bottom of the fifth. Hunsaker takes off for second. That one swung on and hit to left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Hunsaker heading for third. He will stop there. And a 3-for-3 night for Connor O'Mara. 3 singles, the 9th hit of the game. Attacking on the first pitch, and now Anthony Radis steps up. Again, beautiful use of ABC baseball as Hunsaker advancing to second, stealing second, and then on the base hit heading for third. That's the second time the Oilers had tried the hit and run. As now it's Anthony Radis, the catcher. Radis reached on an error back in the first and struck out back in the third. One of 3 strikeouts for Baker tonight. Radis swings to the first pitch, and it's a base hit to left field. Hunsaker scores. O'Mara holds at second. It's an RBI single for Anthony Radis, and the Oilers have a 10-6 lead. 10 hits and 10 runs for the Oilers. Again, back-to-back attacking on the first pitch, and Radis drives in the run. So the Oiler catcher drives in his 5th of the season. And Grant Fournier coming to the plate. He's got an RBI tonight as well. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. Fournier, after grounding out in the first inning, drove home a run with a single back in the third. A 1 pitch to him in the dirt, ball one. Fournier has driven in 7 on the year. trying to add to the Oilers' lead with some more two-out magic. They scored 4, all with 2 outs back in the first inning. 1-1 pitch, big swing. Fournier comes up empty, strike 2. So Grant will have to be careful here on a 1-2 pitch. You've got good speed at second with O'Mara. 1-2 to Fournier, swung on and fouled back. O'Mara at second, Anthony Radis at first. You got to think that any base hit would bring O'Mara home. 1-2 to Fournier, low and inside in the dirt, and they had O'Mara on a rundown, but the throw is high, and everybody's going to be safe. Well, Jose Taveras, they had Connor O'Mara in a rundown. They had him hung up between second and third, but ultimately the throw is lofted, and on that throwing error, the runners are going to advance. So 2-2. Throwing error charge to Taveras. And a 2-2 pitch from Baker. Swung on and pulled down the line. That is stopped by Gonzalez. Throw back to first in time for the out. So ultimately, the error does not come back to hurt the Doubledays, but 1 run comes home. And we'll make our way to the 6th inning at Bradner Stadium. Oilers leading Auburn 10-6. Sixth inning here at Bradner Stadium. Oilers still leading the Auburn Doubledays 10-6, and a new arm on the mound. That is the right-hander Bryson Huar with the sidearm delivery. As the first pitch to the shortstop Connor Rumpf is swung on and missed. Rumpf has reached base twice, both on walks, and he's come around to score both times as well. He'll face Bryson Huar, a native of Strattonville, Pennsylvania, a redshirt senior at Charleston Southern. A one pitch swung on and missed. Huar will see Connor Rumpf, Jose Taveras, and Ethan Smith. Huar's been a solid reliever out of the pen for the Oilers. He's pitched a total of 7 innings. 4 appearances, 1-0, ERA just north of 6.4 as the 0-2 pitch is strike 3 called. He freezes Connor Rumpf. So how about that entrance into the game? 3 straight strikes to set down Connor Rumpf for the first time tonight. Huar strikes out the first batter he sees, and Jose Taveras comes to the plate now. Taveras singled back in the second, flew out in the fourth. First pitch to Taveras, swung on and fouled back. Might have even taken a deflection off of the mask of Radis. Jose again looking to get the offensive numbers up. Comes into play batting .211. Base hit earlier will help that. A one-off ring to him is low. Again, Bryson Huar has the sidearm submarine style pitch delivery. You gotta have a hard time hitting that if I was a batter, although to be fair, I'd have a hard time probably hitting anything. The 1-1 pitch is outside. Maybe if I was a pitcher, I wouldn't have a hard time hitting batters, but that, of course, implies I could get the ball to home plate, which I'm not entirely counting on. But Bryson Huar sure can, and we'll see where he locates this pitch. 2-1 to Taveras. And that one swung on and missed. So Huar getting some really good swing and miss action. So Huar trying to send down Taveras. Huar gives a nod, he said, and the 2-2 pitch on its way. Swing and a miss, he struck him out. How about that? Back-to-back strikeouts in the top of the 6th for Bryson Huar. One looking and one swinging, and we'll see if he can keep the magic going against the 10-spot batter, Ethan Smith. Smith, the right fielder, grounded into a double play back in the 2nd, walked in the 4th. Should note there is a right-hander warming up in the Auburn bullpen. First pitch to Smith from Bryson Huar is low for a ball. Huar set, the 1-0 pitch, low and inside, so that one couple just missing the strike zone low. Oilers are looking to set down the Doubleday batters in order for the first time in this game tonight. There's only been combined across the board 1-2-3 inning. Oilers went down in order back in the 4th. 2-0 pitch here is swung on and popped up. That will go out of play down the right field line. So the hits match the runs exactly. Auburn has 6 runs and 6 hits. Oilers have 10 runs and 10 hits. Doubledays have committed 2 errors in the game. 2-1 from Huar. Swung on and chopped on the ground. Hunsaker's got it. Hill underhand to Huar covering the bag. And Bryson Huar has a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 6th. He strikes out 2 and gets the ground ball. We're going to the bottom of the 6th at Bradner Stadium. Oilers up 10-6. Bottom of the sixth inning, and the night for William Baker III on the mound is finished after 5. Gives up 10 runs, and he'll give way to the right-hander James Hopfleisch, who we saw here in the game last week. And Hopfleisch was the one who was called upon to put out the fire in the ninth inning. He came in relief of Tristan Roca back in the ninth inning last Friday when the Oilers had a 10-1 lead. And 6 runs were surrendered. Nobody was out. Hopefleisch came into the game and took care of business to seal a 10-7 win for the Doubledays. He'll face Connor Vercoloni, the 10-spot hitter to start. First pitch from Hopefleisch is a called strike. Vercoloni 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, swinging in the second, looking in the third. Trying to avoid the golden sombrero and put the ball in play. 0-1 to Vercoloni inside. That backs him up off the plate. One pitch to Vercoloni, high and inside. So again, Connor trying to really get his overall batting numbers up. Only batting 172 coming into the season, but gets on base roughly 46% of the time and has stolen 4 bases this year. 2-1 pitch cut on and missed. So if Vercoloni can get on base, he's certainly a threat to run, but his goal is just to get the batting numbers up. 2-2 pitch to him, swung on and hit down the left field line. Foul! That ball will introduce itself to the Auburn bullpen over in foul territory on the left field side. Hopefleisch into the windup, the 2-2 pitch. High ball 3. Vercoloni works a full count. So 3-2. And the pitch from Hopefleisch. Strike 3 called. Oh, Vercoloni thought that was ball 4. We did too up here in the press box. Ultimately, it's strike 3. Hopefleisch strikes out the first batter he sees. Vercoloni thought that one was ball 4 all the way. He had already taken a few steps down the line. We will have to keep an eye, not to be the bearer of bad news, we will have to keep an eye on the radar here in a few. There is a small rain cell just to the southwest of Bradner Stadium, it looks like. First pitch to Thomas Bates is inside. Bates 1 for 3 in the game. 2 groundouts and a single sandwiched in between them. The 1-0 pitch is a called strike. Again, Thomas Bates batting .380 on the season. He's been very productive at the plate, as well as being a solid anchor defensively. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off. Gearing up for his senior year at John Carroll University. Hopefleisch working slowly and deliberately with nobody on. Now appears to have the sign he wants, and the 1-2 pitch on the way to Bates. Swung on and sent foul down the right field line. And we'll keep you updated on how the weather looks. It's a looks to be a very small green cell on the map. Hopefully it maybe misses Bradner Stadium. The 1-2 pitch just misses, ball 2. Gutsy take by Thomas Bates. We have seen that a lot this year, where the Oilers really haven't been afraid on 2-strike pitches close to the zone, have not been afraid to take those. 2-2, that one low, ball 3, and the count goes full. So at the very least, the Oilers are making James Hopefleisch throw a handful of pitches in this 6th inning. Bates sets back up, and the 3-2 pitch on its way. That one swung on and lifted into shallow right field. That's dropping. That is down for a hit. Drops right in front of Ethan Smith, and it's the second base hit of the night for Thomas Bates. 11th hit of the game for the Oilers, and they've got themselves a 1-out base runner. So that'll bring Cooper Tarley to the plate. Tarley walked, stole a couple bases, and scored back in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second, was thrown out trying to head for third on a ball that went back to the backstop and flew out back in the fourth. Again, the big thing with Cooper is if he finds his way on base, look out. First one is a called strike. Tarley leads the Oilers in stolen bases, but of course has to get himself on base first. Bates has only stolen 1 so far this year, and now he's going to scamper back to first as they check on him. He's back in safely. Pretty short lead off of first for Bates as Tarley stands in on an 0-1 pitch. That one swung on and hit to left. That is foul. Just foul down that left field line. And I mean barely foul. Score updates from a couple of the games around the PGCBL. Bottom of the 6th, the Newark Pilots have opened up a 6-1 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. Bottom of the 8th in Jamestown, the Tarp Skunks lead the Niagara Falls Americans 4-2. Bates, again, a very short lead off of first. 0-2 pitch from Hopefleisch. Strike 3 called. Tarley thought that one missed. It's strike 3. 2 strikeouts, both looking in the 6th inning for James Hopefleisch. That's out number 2. So the extra hitter, Brian Fleming, at the dish. Fleming drove in a run with a sac fly back in the first inning, singled and scored in the third, and flew out in the fourth. First pitch to him here is up high for a ball. And would not particularly expect Bates to run unless he gets a really good read off of Hopefleisch. 1-0 pitch swung on and hit high in the air down the left field line. That will go out of play. So Fleming certainly gave that a ride, but sends it just foul, as did Cooper Tarley in the at-bat right before this. A couple of other score updates across the league. Top of the 4th, the Niagara Ironbacks have rallied back. They now lead Batavia 4-3 in the second half of their doubleheader. 1-1 pitch. There goes Bates. Pitch is swung on and missed. Throw now to second is going to go into center field. Bates is going to head for third. And the wild throw gets Thomas Bates from first to third. I'll give him the stolen bag at second. Even if that throw was on the money, he had a really good jump. I don't know that he would have been out. But either way, it's 1-2 to Brian Fleming trying to drive in Bates and add to this Oiler lead. Hofleisch looks over at Bates standing at third, and the 1-2 pitch to Fleming. Swung on and hit to left field. That's down for a base hit. Bates will trot home. Brian Fleming drives in his second run of the night, and the Oilers have an 11-6 lead. Their 12th hit of the night, and again, scoring runs with 2 outs. We've seen a lot of that tonight. So Christo Hunsaker up next as Bates gets a ride home from Fleming. And now it's Christo Hunsaker to the plate. Brian Fleming with his 4th and 5th RBIs of the season coming tonight. Fleming's going to take off for second. The pitch is a strike. The throw down to second is not in time. Fleming beats the throw. So Brian Fleming's first stolen base of the season, if you can believe that. Pitch was a strike to Christo Hunsaker, but the Oilers have one in scoring position. Another stolen base. Oilers have been really good running on the base paths tonight. 0-1 pitch to Hunsaker. Swung on and hit to short. That is bobbled at short by Rumpf. Long throw on to first is not going to be in time. And that would have been a tough play for Rumpf to make even if it hadn't been bobbled. So give Christo Hunsaker an infield single, their 13th hit of the game. And now runners at the corners for the DH, Danny Martin. Fleming goes to third. And even though there's 2 outs, Oilers have certainly done some damage with 2 outs in this game. That seems to be when their offense has been at their best, at least tonight. Hunsaker is going to take off for second. Pitches outside. Throw to second is going to be cut off. A nice play by Nacho Gonzalez at second to cut that throw off too and not allow Brian Fleming to head home, but it's a base hit for Hunsaker. And the Oilers have 2 in scoring position, or a stolen base for Hunsaker, I should say. Christo with a second stolen base of the season. 1-0 to Danny Martin, swung on and fouled back. Danny Martin walked and scored back in the first inning. Grounded out in the third. Walked and scored again in the 5th. That was Christo Hunsaker. Danny Martin walked and scored in the first. Single, drove in a run and scored, and he's going to hit this one on the ground. That one bobbled at first, and throw to first is going to be wide. Justin Batts could not corral it at first, and the throw was wide. 2 runs come home to score as Martin reaches on Auburn's 3rd error of the game, and 2 come in to score. Again, some 2-out offense as the E3 allows Danny Martin to reach. Fleming and Hunsaker both come home to score. That one was bobbled by Justin Batts at first. And then the throw back to first with the pitcher Hofleisch covering went out of play. Oilers have brought in 3 in this inning. First pitch is hit on the ground. Batts knocks it down. Throw to first is not in time. That one goes out of play as well. It rolls up into right field. And heading for third is Danny Martin as Stout hit that one on the ground. And that one bobbled at first. Justin Batts has had a rough 6th inning. Give Batts the error on that one as well. As Danny Martin goes for third, and now it's Connor O'Mara's turn to hit. And O'Mara has had a great night. Connor 3 for 3 with 3 singles. He's also driven in a run and scored 2 himself. So that one a little bit of a judgment call, whether you want to call that an infield hit or an error. I mean, it was a nice stop by Batts. That one up high, and Stout's going to steal second without a throw. So Derek Stout steals his first base of the year as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by O'Mara. Oilers could put themselves in 10-run rule territory with one swing. You say could. 1-1 pitch from Hopefleisch, swung on and missed. So Hopefleisch standing back in, 1-2 strikes to Connor O'Mara. Stout has a solid lead off of second. The 1-2 pitch swung on and hit in the air to right center field. That's going to get down, and this is going to be extra bases for O'Mara. 1 run scores. Here comes Stout. He'll score as well. It's a 2-run double. Connor O'Mara with a 4-for-4 night, and he's driven in 3 runs. 5 have scored in this inning, all with 2 outs. And the Oilers are rolling as Martin and Stout both come home to score. Now Anthony Radis at the plate. Oilers now leading 15-6. Anthony Radis reached on an error in the first inning, struck out in the third, drove home a run with a single in the fifth. He could do that again here. He takes the first pitch for a called strike. Again, the Mercy Rule in the PGCBL, a 10-run lead through 7 innings of play. Oilers lead by 9 at the moment. 0-1 pitch is low, and heading for third is Connor O'Mara. He'll be in there without a throw, defensive indifference. Connor steals his 4th base of the year. 1-1 pitch to Radis. Check swing. That one rolls past Hopefleisch. That slow roller to short. Throw to first is just in time. A really nice play by Connor Rumpf at short on the slow roller over the glove of Hopefleisch. The run will not score, and the Oilers are out in the 6th inning. But 5 runs come home to score, all with 2 outs. We're going to the 7th inning at Bradner Stadium. Oilers have a 9-run lead. It's 15-6. Top of the 7th inning, and the top of the order for the Auburn Doubledays as they now trail 15-6 on a beautiful Saturday night at Bradner Stadium. I'm Matt Volz. The Oilers trying to have a shutdown inning and maybe potentially walk it off early. But the top of the order for the Doubledays certainly with some work to do. Bryson Huar out there for another inning of work after a 1-2-3 sixth. First pitch to Madrid. Check swing, he went around, strike one. Jaden Madrid singled and scored in the first, grounded out in the second, drove home two with a single back in the fourth. 0-1 from Huar, strike two. So again, we'll see the top of the order. It'll be Madrid followed by Nacho Gonzalez and the DH Flynn Shoop. Huar has the sign, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Third strikeout in 4 batters faced for Bryson Huar. There's a great start to the 7th inning. That'll bring up Nacho Gonzalez, the second baseman for the Doubledays. Walked and scored in the first, struck out in the third, grounded out in the fourth. Nacho, the left-handed bat, wears number 3 for Auburn. First pitch to him from Huar is low, ball 1. Huar gets set, the 1-0 pitch swung on and foul back. Again, we talked about it earlier in the game, but Nacho Gonzalez has been really one of the best hitters in the league, not just for the Doubledays, but across the league. Been a very good fielder at second, although he did have one of Auburn's 4 errors committed tonight. 1-1 pitch skips in the dirt, ball 2. Nacho batting .480 on the season for the Doubledays. He can certainly tear the cover off the ball. He's been really good. Huar takes a deep breath. The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Bryson with some really good swing and miss stuff tonight, as he's done a good job to get ahead of the Auburn hitters on several occasions. Gonzalez, the 5th batter he's faced in relief. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Huar. He struck out 4 of the 5 batters he's faced. So Huar trying to send the Doubledays down again. And it's the DH Flynn Shoop coming to the plate. Shoop is 0 for 3. He was out on a sacrifice bunt that moved the runners into scoring position back in the first as he fouls this one off. Also popped out softly to right field in the third and struck out looking in the 5th. That strikeout against Austin Miles. Huar has the sign from Anthony Radis behind the plate, and the 0-1 pitch on its way. That one swung on and fouled back. So again, a really nice job to get ahead of these batters for Bryson Huar, trying to finish him off and send us to the 7th inning stretch. The righty Shoop steps back into the batter's box as Huar tries to finish him off. He's ahead 0-2. Doesn't have to throw anything close to the heart of the plate. See if he tries to get Flynn Shoop to chase. And the 0-2 pitch from Huar swung on and lifted high in the air out towards center. That is playable and caught by Fournier for out number 3. So 6 batters faced for Bryson Huar. He set down all 6 with 4 strikeouts. It's time to stretch at Bradner Stadium. Oilers lead Auburn 15-6. Home half of inning number 7 here at Bradner Stadium. Oilers up by 9, which means if the Oilers score 1 run in this bottom of the 7th inning, this ball game is over. It's the 9, 10, and 1 batters for the Oilers. Grant Fournier will be leading things off, followed by Connor Vercoloni and Thomas Bates. First one to Fournier is high, ball 1. James Hopefleisch out there for another inning of work. Fournier 1 for 3 in the game tonight. 2 groundouts. Did have an RBI single back in the 3rd. 1-0 pitch is swung on and hit high in the air toward right. That will be caught by Ethan Smith for out number 1. So Fournier 1 for 4, and that'll bring Connor Vercoloni to the plate. And Vercoloni looking to get things back on track. And we'll see, because I think the Oilers are going to go to their bench after an 0 for 3 night from Vercoloni. So batting in the 10 spot, first pitch is taken low for a ball. One 0 pitch on its way. That one a called strike. Looks like Will Watson is the man in place of Vercoloni. So the Oilers go to their bench, and we'll see if the Oilers, if we do have a top of the 8th inning, we'll see what defensive changes might await in the outfield. 2 balls and a strike to Watson. Will, a native of Summerville, South Carolina, and he takes the 2-1 pitch for ball 3. And Will's got some speed, too. He runs really well. Only batting 100 on the year. So looking to boost that a little bit. The 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. And Watson draws, I don't know if you call that a pinch walk, or he's pinch hitting, but he walked. So I guess you call it a pinch walk or whatever. But either way, Will Watson reaches, and potentially the Oilers may have the winning run on base. And we recycle to the top of the order. Thomas Bates now coming to bat. Thomas 2 for 4 in the game tonight. First pitch to Bates is inside, ball 1. Oilers have out-hit the Doubledays 13-6. Bates had a single back in the 2nd, singled again in the 6th, stole a base, and came home to score. Watson takes off for 2nd. Bates squares to bunt, but pulls the bat back. Watson into 2nd without a throw. And are they going to say it deflected off of Bates? No, it is. So Bates able to pull the bat back, and it's a stolen base for Will Watson, his first of the year. Now the Oilers might be a base hit away from winning the game. 2-0 pitch to Bates. Swing and a miss. Again, Thomas Bates batting .380. He's driven in 8 on the year. Hopefleisch takes a look behind him. 2-1 pitch to Bates. Big swing, comes up empty. Strike 2. Oilers trying to put this game to an end right now. 2-2 to the Oilers' second baseman. And Will Watson, the runner at 2nd. Oilers up by 9, trying to put the 10-run rule into effect. 2-2 pitch, swung on, and did he get a piece of it? Looks like he did. Bates just able to get a piece of that to stay alive. So Bates will have to step back in as he just barely got a piece of that pitch to stay alive. Will Watson at second. Bates trying to drive him in to walk off this game in the seventh for the Oilers. Watson a lead off of second. Leaning towards going. Hopefully takes a look back. 2-2 pitch to Bates. Inside, ball 3. Really nice at bat by the Oilers' veteran second baseman. Three and two. Watson again with the lead. The 3-2 to Bates. Swung on and popped up foul. That'll go out of play. So Thomas will get another shot at it. Again, just getting a piece of these pitches to keep himself alive in the at-bat. Watson trying to get in. Hopefully just had the 3-2 pitch to Bates. Is swung on and hit out toward left. That is playable and will be caught by Jaden Madrid for out number 2. So Bates is out of luck, but that brings up Cooper Tarley. Thomas Bates 2 for 5 on the night. That's out number 2, and it brings up Tarley. Cooper Tarley walked, stole a couple bases, and scored back in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice, was thrown out going for third. Back in the second, flew out in the fourth, struck out looking in the sixth. Trying to see if he can't drive home Will Watson from second to end this game. Watson a short lead off of second. Had both feet on the grass earlier as Tarley sends this one on the ground. That's a nice play by Rumpf, throwing on to first in time for out number 3. So the Oilers have a threat, but Auburn neutralizes it, and we're going to the 8th inning here at Bradner Stadium. Oilers lead the Auburn Doubledays 15-6. Eighth inning at Bradner Stadium. Teddy Monahan to lead things off for the Doubledays against Bryson Huar, who's out there for another inning of work. The first pitch to Monahan is low for a ball. 1-0 to Monahan. Pitch from Huar in there for a called strike. So it'll be Monahan followed by Justin Batts and Luke Geyer. 1-1 pitch swung on and lifted high in the air toward deep center field. This could be trouble. That's back at the wall. That bounces off the base of the wall. Monahan heading for third, and the throw from O'Mara is going to be just wide. It's a leadoff triple for Teddy Monahan. Monahan gave that one a ride. The 7th hit of the game for Auburn. Doubledays haven't had a whole lot of extra base hits in the game. They get one there as Monahan is on base for the 3rd straight time. He's had a good night. So Justin Batts at the plate. Batts walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. First one from Huar. So Huar gives the nod to Anthony Radis, and the 0-1 pitch swung on and sent off the fence, strike 2. So looking at what's coming up next for both of these teams, Oilers will be right back here again tomorrow for a 4 o'clock game against Geneva. The 0-2 pitch swung on and sent foul. As for Auburn, they will return home for a doubleheader against the Jamestown Tarp Skunks starting at 4 o'clock. Oilers just have one. Doubledays have got 2 tomorrow. A double day for the Doubledays. 0-2 pitch from Huar, swung on and popped up shallow right field. Couple of infielders go out. Bates slips, and sliding was Charlie and can't make the catch. A run's going to come home to score as that one just drops for a base hit. An RBI single off the bat of Batts, and it's 15-7. 8th hit of the game for the Doubledays, as the first 2 have reached. So Justin Batts at first, and now Luke Geyer. Geyer's got a couple of hits. Has driven in 2 runs. First pitch to him from Huar, swung on and hit off the end of the bat down the left field line. Playable and caught out and left by Will Watson just into the game for out number 1. So Dustin Werther up again with the Oilers pinch hitting and taking Vercoloni out of the game. That is Will Watson out and left. With Dustin Wortham up and a runner at first and 1 out. Actually, it looks like Auburn's going to go to their bench here. They're going to bring in number 15, Chase Moore, to hit in place of Wortham. So Moore, the lefty, stands in. Native of Lexington, Kentucky. Plays for Alcorn State. First pitch to Moore, swung on and sent foul down the first base line. An 0-for-3 night for Dustin Wortham. 2 groundouts and a strikeout, leading to the entrance of Chase Moore into the game. Moore batting .296 so far on the year. 0-1 pitch to him. That's a called strike 2 from Huar. Chase Moore gets on base about 41% of the time, driven in 11 on the year. Huar gets set, and the 0-2 pitch to Moore, just off the plate, ball one. So for Auburn, 7 runs, 8 hits. They've committed 4 errors in the game. Oilers, 15 runs, 13 hits, and no errors committed by Olean. 1-2 pitch from Huar. That one skips in the dirt, kept in front by Radis. So Moore stands in on a 2-2 pitch from Bryson Huar. With bats at first, not a particularly big lead. 2-2 from Huar. Just off the plate, ball 3. From 1-2 to 3-2 in the count, going full for the pinch hitter, Chase Moore. Connor Rumpf, the shortstop, waiting on deck. Three-two pitch from Huar. Just missed, ball 4, and Chase Moore draws a walk. So 4 out of 5 have reached. Huar set all batters he faced down in the 6th and 7th. He had set down 6 in a row, striking out 4. Has run into some trouble here in the 8th. Surrendering a run, now runners at first and second. For the shortstop, Connor Rumpf. First pitch to Rumpf, low and inside, ball 1. Rumpf walked and scored in the 2nd, walked and scored again in the 4th. Struck out looking in the 6th. 1-0 pitch from Huar. That one low, ball 2. So Bryson trying to get himself back on track. Trying to make sure that Auburn does not have a chance to do to the Oilers what the Oilers nearly did to them the 9th inning last week. 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. So Huar able to get himself back into the at-bat. Justin Batts at second, Chase Moore at first. 2-1 pitch from Huar. That one swung on and chopped on the ground past third, but the throw to first, a gorgeous throw from Connor O'Mara for the out. That one rolled past Derek Stout, the third baseman, and an incredible throw from O'Mara for out number 2. Oilers' infield defense has been really good tonight. And a 6-3 ground out off of Rumpf's bat. Both runners on base advance. Jose Taveras, the catcher, stands in. Runners at second and third and 2 outs. First pitch to him from Huar is a called strike. Jose Taveras singled in the 2nd, flew out in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. Huar gives a look, and the 0-1 pitch is swung on the ground. Thomas Bates retreats. He's got it, throws on to first in time for out number 3. So Auburn with a couple of hits, they do bring one home to score, but we're making our way to the home half of the 8th. Oilers still leading the Auburn Doubledays 15-7. 3, 4, and 5 hitters to get things rolling for the Oilers in the bottom of the 8th. They lead it 15-7. Brian Fleming will get things started. First pitch from James Hopefleisch is low for a ball. Game that has just about reached the 3-hour mark. We've seen a lot of offensive fireworks. Oilers have had 3 innings of 4 runs or more in the game. 1-0 pitch to Fleming. That one misses. Ball 2. Oilers have out-hit Auburn 13-8 as well. And the 2-0 pitch to Fleming. That one swung on and popped up on the infield and foul territory. Geyer reaches back and makes the catch for out number 1. So Fleming pops out for the first out of the side, and that'll bring Christo Hunsaker to the plate. Christo Hunsaker's had a pretty good night. Walked and scored in the first, grounded out in the third, walked and scored in the fifth, singled, stole a base, and scored in the sixth. I'd say that's a pretty solid night when you get yourself on base 3 times and are able to come home and score all 3 times. First pitch to him here is a strike called. Hopefleisch is set again. Remember, he put out the fire big time in the 9th inning here last week as that one swung on and sent down the left field line, but foul over near the Auburn bullpen. So Hunsaker behind 0-2. He has seen a lot of 2-strike counts. But again, the importance of being selective and putting the ball in play, and Christo has done that to a T tonight. 0-2 pitch on its way. That one high and inside, ball 1. Christo Hunsaker's had a really good night over at first base defensively, too. Made a couple of very nice plays that saved hits or maybe even runs. The 1-2 pitch to Hunsaker. Skipped in the dirt, ball 2. Well, taking a look at the scores from across the PGCBL. A couple games have gone final. 2-2 pitch to Hunsaker. Low, ball 3. From 0-2 to 3-2. It's a final in Sogerties. The Stallions crushed the Oneonta Outlaws 12-3. Jamestown Tarpskunks also taking an 8-2 win over the Niagara Falls Americans as Hunsaker lifts this one high in the air toward deep left. That is going to stay in the ballpark and will be caught by Jaden Madrid for out number 2. Hunsaker gave it a ride, but just not quite far enough. That's out number 2. That'll bring Denny Martin to the plate. Denny's had a good game. Walked and scored in the first, drove in a run and scored in the third. Popped out in the 5th, reached on an error and came around to score in the 6th. Other games going on right now. Top of the 6th in the second half of the doubleheader in Batavia. The Niagara Ironbacks and Batavia Muck Dogs are even at 5 as Martin swings and pops up the first pitch to third, and Geyer will put it away for out number 3. Oilers are sent down in order in the bottom of the 8th, and to quote the legendary John Rooney, let's hold 'em and go home. Oilers 3 outs away from a win. We'll make our way to the 9th inning at Bradner Stadium. Oilers up 15-7. So here we go to the ninth inning. Ethan Smith leading off for the Doubledays. The 10-1-2 batters will come to the plate against the right-hander Aiden Coburn for the Oilers. Coburn, a native of Andover, pitches at Alfred State. First one misses up high and away, ball one. We will see Ethan Smith followed by Jaden Madrid and Nacho Gonzalez. Aiden making his fourth relief appearance of the year. The 1-0 pitch inside, ball two. Opponents have batted .222 against Coburn. The 2-0 pitch, strike called on the inside corner. Coburn gives a nod behind the plate. And the 2-1 pitch, high and away, ball three. So Aiden got to be careful. Don't want to give the Doubledays any opportunity to get back into this one. He's fallen behind 3-0 to the leadoff man, Ethan Smith. 3-1 pitch from Coburn, swung on and popped up in foul territory. That will go out of play and clang off the bleachers right below us. So a full count to him. Three-two pitch is fouled off. He'll do it again. So Coburn at 3-2, trying to get the first out of this ninth inning. Get the Oilers a little bit closer to a win. 3-2 pitch swung on and hit in the air toward left center. Ranging over and not making the catch is Watson. Watson tried to dive and grab that. Ultimately not able to. He's up. That's okay. It was a hard fall. So that'll go down as a double for Ethan Smith. Ninth hit of the game and a leadoff base runner for the Doubledays. So Jaden Madrid to the plate now with a runner at second. And nobody out. It's a good thing Will Watson appears to be all right out in left field. That one just hit right perfectly between the left and center fielders for the Oilers, Will Watson and Grant Fournier. Watson trying to make a diving catch. Ultimately couldn't come up with it. That one's just too well placed. So Ethan Smith, the runner at second. And the leadoff man, Jaden Madrid, comes to the plate. Madrid singled and scored back in the first. Grounded out in the second. Drove home two with a single in the fourth. And struck out in the seventh. Coburn into the windup. And the first pitch to Madrid is a called strike. Jaden batting .207 on the year. 0-1 from Coburn in the dirt, ball one. Coburn set and takes a look behind him, and the 1-1 pitch on its way. That one outside, that's going to go all the way back to the backstop, and Smith will head for third. So 2-1 now as Coburn's fallen behind, and Ethan Smith one spot away from coming home to score. 2-1 to the right-handed hitting Jaden Madrid. Jaden, a native of Rochester. The 2-1 pitch is a strike called on the inside corner. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Doubledays appear to have gone to their bench unless Jaden Madrid is wearing a different jersey number. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and hit on the ground. A roller to Christo Hunsaker, and he'll step on the bag at first. A run will come home to score, but that's the first out of the inning. Oilers will exchange that. So an RBI there. That's the first out of the inning, as Ethan Smith comes home to score, and now Nacho Gonzalez up with nobody on and 1 down. Oilers 2 outs away from pulling themselves to back within a game of 500. First pitch here from Coburn is a called strike. So it looks like the Doubledays have gone to their bench again, as a right-hander hitting in Gonzalez's spot. The 0-1 pitch is strike 2 at the bottom of the zone. So Aiden ahead 0-2. A little bit surprising to see them go to the bench with how good Gonzalez is. The 0-2 pitch swung on and hit in the air toward left center. Going back is Tarley, or rather, that is Grant Fournier, and making the catch for out number 2. And the Doubledays down to their final out. So the DH Flynn Shoup will come to the plate, although we'll see if Auburn goes to their bench again. And it looks like they are going to go to their bench. Looks like George Farley, number 26, batting now for the Doubledays. At least it appears that way. Farley, a native of Austin, Texas, plays for the University of Rochester. George batting .333 on the season. And he's the final hope for the Doubledays tonight, as they trail the Oilers 15-8 in this 9th inning. Coburn trying to finish him off. First pitch to Farley, swung on and fouled back. George Farley getting on base about 42% of the time. He's been a very good fielder for them as well. He's driven in 3 runs. Coburn gets set. 0-1 pitch to Farley. Strike 2. Doubledays are down to their last strike. Coburn just needs 1 pitch to finish this game off. The 0-2 from Coburn. Outside, ball 1. Tried to get him to chase. Farley didn't bite. So we'll do it again at 1-2. And the pitch from Coburn. Strike 3 called, and that's your ball game. Aiden Coburn with a strikeout to finish it off. The Oilers offense with an outstanding show, and they take down the Auburn Doubledays 15-8. Oilers advance to 9-10 on the season and draw even for now with the Niagara Ironbacks for 5th place in the West Division. Auburn falls to 13-6. Both of these teams will be in action tomorrow. The Oilers will be home again to take on the Geneva Red Wings at 4 o'clock. Auburn will also return home. They will have a doubleheader against the Jamestown Tarpskunks, also starting at 4 o'clock. Oilers pull themselves back within 1 game of 500, and an offensive eruption gets them a 15-8 win. Well, from all of us here at Bradner Stadium, we thank you for tuning into this broadcast of Olean Oilers baseball. Until tomorrow at 4 o'clock, this is Matt Volz saying good night and go Oilers.